All right, welcome to Vetselite Daily Vlog number 5. All right, so today what I'm going to be discussing is utilizing singles in training for lifters, and like using singles a good amount of the time, especially for your deadlifts. Now, a lot of programs for lifters, you usually kind of see either, you see like the conjugate style lift where you get some sort of max, and then after you might do some, high volume accessory work on just like whatever you can think of to kind of like, fuck yourself up that day. Then you have, other like higher frequency programs where it's focused on building like general strength, where, you're looking for ranges of 4 to 6. Whether you're going to do like a triphasic kind of wave, Travis Mash does a lot of that, where he'll actually give, triphasic waves where it'll go like 5 second down, 4 second pause, 4 seconds back up for a 5 RM and then drop down. So that's really good for beginners in like a beginner program, or like getting back into it just so you can get better at sticking to those positions and getting the pattern down of the squat or deadlift or whatever you're doing. But at the same time, like those are just examples of what like a general program would start at, and then you kind of wave into something where you might get, more doubles and triples, maybe hit a single every once in a while, or speed work is, when you talk about like dynamic effort method for West Side, you either got your 5 sets of 5, you got your 8 sets of 3, 12 sets of 2, and then usually with deadlifts, it's all singles. Now, I got this question because I've been posting a lot of my training, and the question was like, why are you doing so many singles usually for general strength? I'm aiming, this person was aiming for, more volume and that's where he'd seen benefits and where he'd seen progression. So one, if that's what's working for you or for whoever you're coaching, then like keep doing that, monitor, make adjustments as needed. You know what I mean? What actually happened was I wasn't using a good intensity scale, and I was doing a version of Cal Dietz above 80%, kind of made it up myself. And what I did was Mondays I would do box squat and deadlift at, I think that was like it would wave in 3 weeks 80 up to 87% from his model. Wednesday would be the like 87% to 95% over 3 weeks. That was a single day, so it would be 4 sets of 1 that day, 5 sets of 2 the day before, and then on Friday we do 5 sets of 5, which is a really good undulating model. But what happened was when I did it is, I gave myself too much freedom. So, on that Monday I would do a box squat and deadlift 5 sets of 2, and what was happening was I would start, I made a rule I would hit the first 3 sets, and then depending on my feeling I would go up, and I did that for both squat and deadlift, and I did that not just on the Monday but on the Wednesday too. For 3 weeks, money, absolute money. I went from a 515, 520 pull up to a 545. I'd never done it in my life, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. But what happened was I injured myself. I did too much, tried to do it too quick, and I didn't regulate my intensity properly. So I had to kind of come up, do some research, kind of figure out like what was going to work for me. And what I found was like, I got a lot of strength gains, but my technique was terrible. Like, you know what I mean? Like I didn't brace properly. I wasn't getting the proper like scat depression and lat activation. I wasn't getting my feet rooted in the ground correctly, and especially the bracing strategies with my core were terrible. So what I did is I was just like, for deadlifts, I'm very rarely going to go more than 1 rep, right? Just because, like, at the end of the day, like powerlifting, and if you're just trying to get stronger, you're trying to get stronger for 1 rep. So say you can do, you're a person who does 3 reps and your first one's always the worst, and then you kind of build up. Like, at the end of the day, you only need to pull 1. So you need to get your bracing strategy down for that 1 rep, so that dead stop rep, so you can start, walk up and go. So what I decided was, for the next 8 weeks, whenever I do my deadlifts heavy, I'm going to do 1 rep. if I need to do more volume, then I'll just add sets or cluster it, right? So what I did is I just stuck to the plan, and I would walk up, get my bracing strategy down. Now I have it down like it's like a free throw. You know what I mean? Like I walk up, I know exactly what I'm going to do. Like just like somebody walks up to take 3 dribbles, spin the ball behind their back, get in position and go. It's the same thing. I stick my left foot, I root my left foot, then I swing my right leg up, I get both my legs down, then I set my diaphragm down, then I get my arms placement, then I come up, like I have it all down. Like that's what I needed. So now every time I do the deadlift, I do it trying for perfection. You know what I mean? And I still do it with a squat too, but I can do more reps with that. So I was keeping it to 1 rep. And now that I'm starting to get healthy, like I'm back to like where I don't have back pain or hip pain, now I decided to keep it that way because you know what? Like it's been really good for me to just focus on that 1 rep, pulling that off the ground, building the tension in my body, and then pushing the world away and doing it correctly just on that 1 rep, taking a break, and then do it again. Take a break, do it again. Take a break, do it again. Just because that's more representative of what it's going to be like anyway, and I can handle these higher intensities as long as I moderate myself the way. So now I stick to strict percentages. I wave my heavy work in a 2 up, 1 down, 1 up, and I pair that with speed work of the opposite movement, and I wave that 3 up, 1 down, right? So for example, I'm going speed squat on Monday, and I'll wave that up. So I go 3-week wave up, 1 week down. Then right after when I do my deadlifts, I'm waving that 2 up, 1 down, 1 up. So my heaviest day of speed work is my down week for the heavy lift. So now when I'm having so much stress on the squat, banded speed, I pull it back, right? And then when I have my lowest speed work, volume and intensity, now I'm going for that big pull. And I don't have to worry about like kind of having those like being fatigued and not being able to keep my technique right. I do the same thing on Friday with squat. So I'll do the same way, but I'll have it speed pull with heavy squat. And then what I've been doing is just on a Wednesday, I've been messing around with different positional exercises. Like I finally got access to a safety bar, so I'm doing all the safety bar pauses, front squat safety bar stuff, just to work on my position in the hole, because that's what happens. I lose my trunk and I fall forward, and because I just have a weak core and low back. So basically for me, it's that point I'm just trying to work on that position and getting out of the hole and staying upright. And then I've been doing an extra top set squats on that day too, just to get some extra like general strength and volume driving through reps. But I don't do it with deadlift. I only do it on the squat. If I want to get volume on my low back, my posterior chain, luckily now that the place I'm at, Muscle Link, we got a reverse hyper, and soon we're getting a belt squat, right? So I can do reverse hyper and get that volume on my low back at the same time, not worrying about having it be in a movement that could fuck me up. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I switched to doing singles. But there's a lot of like programs out there that are like, if you do well with singles, like then have sessions where you just focus on doing singles, keep the intensity where you need it to be, and just don't hurt yourself. You know what I mean? And that, if that works for you, great. The closer I get to a meet, the more I'll be upping the intensity, lowering the volume. So I might hit 2 sets of 1 in a day. Or I'll do, like a banded max on the speed work right before I do the pull or something like that. Or a wave in a 4 sets of 2 going up to the meet or whatever. So that's something that I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure out, but that's kind of where that came from. And hopefully that gives you some insight to kind of like what I'm doing when I post all this stuff. And if you're interested in that type of program or kind of switching to get into that, like hit me up. Send me a message. I'll write you a program for powerlifting. I can use the concepts for other things, but right now I know for a fact that there's some potential that this will continue to work for other people. So let me know. Have a good night.